How's it going, everyone? It is On here. Welcome back to another video course as always. Today, PlayStation just dropped a bunch of details on their next generation system, the PlayStation 5. Today we got kind of what was originally going to be Sony's GDC presentation. Mark Cerny essentially gave a 50-minute tech, pretty heavy speech, I guess you could say. And today we're going to break it down kind of loosely here. It's not going to be too formal discussion. Today I'm joined by Justin, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hey everyone, it's Justin. You may have heard of me before. I used to make YouTube videos, haven't done so in a while, but yeah, I decided to join Brandon for watching the stream of PlayStation 5 specs. So yeah, I guess we're just gonna run down through all the specs that were revealed today and compare it with the Xbox Series X. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you want to go through all the differences?
Yeah, for sure. So, yeah, we do have the PS5 and Xbox Series X specs kind of laid out here. It is important to note that on paper, the PS5 is worse. However, I believe Mark Cerny was saying something about how pretty much the GPU essentially is going to be a little bit different on the PS5. They're essentially going for less CUs, but instead are looking at like a variable frequency as long as like, I don't know, the gigahertz is also going to be a little bit raised higher than what the Series X has. So a lot of this stuff is also kind of different. I mean, they know more than we do essentially, but essentially as well, the Xbox Series X is going to be a little bit more powerful than the PS5. But again, it's not going to be so simple and clear. We're going to talk about that a little bit later, especially with the SSD and all that. So I guess I'll include an image here just for you watching the video, just to have a very real kind of like visual image, I guess, at home. Yeah, so CPU, the Xbox Series X is going to be rocking an 8X Zen 2 cores at 3.8 gigahertz, which is 3.6 with SMT. That's like a technical term. For a lot of you probably won't know what that means. 8X Zen 2 cores on the PlayStation side at 3.5 gigahertz, so a little bit lower, but with variable frequency. The big one that a lot of people wanted to know today, and I'm glad we got just so we can move away from this kind of like discussion going forward, is the teraflops, essentially the GPU power. We already knew from 2 days ago that the Xbox Series X was going to be 12 teraflops. That's going to be 52 CUs at 1.8. And the PS5 just got announced for 10.28 teraflops, but with 36 CUs running at a 2.23 gigahertz rate. So yeah, I guess we'll essentially break down the CPU and GPU. Xbox seems to be leading on both fronts by a bit, although a lot of these are kind of different. I mean, on paper, I guess, with CPU, it's kind of clear they are, but GPU, it's a little bit different. Justin, what are your thoughts on that, I guess? I mean, yeah.
I mean, personally, like, yeah, you can see with the Xbox Series X, the 12 teraflops is obviously higher than the 10.28 to PlayStation. I wouldn't like. I'm not too worried about it because even though it is higher, it's not by too much. You know, I think like the PS5 will still do just fine. You know,
It's
running.
not the rumored 9 as well that a lot of people are kind of worried about.
Yeah, yeah. So like 10.28, it is less, but I don't think it's gonna make that much of a difference when you're looking at it. I mean, like obviously, like if you put it side by side and you like really look at it, you might see the difference. But you know, I don't think it's gonna it won't be like it won't be bad or anything. Like it's still gonna be fine.
It's also going to
Um,
be interesting because, like, obviously we don't have any footage of games, so
yeah. I was expecting today we would see like at least some like tech demos of some
I
like
was expecting to see possibly PS4 games running on the PS5 at a little bit better, but
yeah, yeah.
it turns out that PS4 actually is not going to be a one size fits all. It pretty much will be, they said, essentially, at least, but they got to kind of verify it on a case by case. Kind of similar to what Xbox did this generation with Xbox 360 games, although it seemed like it's a little bit easier to do that on the PS5 at least, because they said that they got pretty much nearly all 100 of the top most played PS4 games by playtime going
Right.
to be ready for
Yeah.
launch. It is disappointing. We're not going to see any benefits there. It looks like it's going to be running on what they call legacy mode, so it's going to be pretty much how all it functions today. Yeah, it kind of disappoints me because I believe Phil Spencer's been talking about how essentially the Xbox Series X will be kind of like a GPU upgrade, where you're going to see noticeable differences just by running the games out of the box. So technology-wise, and in terms of like content overall, running older titles on these new next-gen systems, it looks like Xbox, at least to me, has a better pro-consumer mode, because I feel like Sony might even charge for upgraded editions now, considering that's been kind of confirmed in terms of how they're running on legacy mode.
All right.
Again, that's disappointing to see. I guess we'll run in to some other specifics. I guess another big one is RAM. A lot of people
Yeah.
obviously want to know that. double the size of last generation. We're now getting 16 gigabytes. Both seem to be running off of GDDR6, so all seems pretty, I guess, similar across the board there. The biggest one, probably in terms of differences, is between the SSDs. So it looks like PS4 went for a custom SSD that's going to be kind of what it seemed like what Mark Cerny was saying, because of course it's all tech heavy. They kind of optimized the SSD with everything going on inside the system, so how it kind of communicates with the GPU, the CPU, essentially making it very fast, eliminating all possible bottleneck. Meanwhile, the SSD that's in the Xbox Series X seems to be a little bit more, I guess, streamlined to what we have from other kind of publishers out today. So, yeah, what that means going forward is obviously PlayStation 5 is going to be able to see some big benefits in terms of the games that come out. Essentially, hard drives are a big kind of bottleneck in terms of all games today because of the consoles still running off a hard drive. So, in terms of like obviously the cheats that a lot of game developers have to go through today with loading levels and textures and making sacrifices, essentially will be eliminated. I will say across the board, because an SSD will eliminate that pretty much across the board, but it seems like the PS5 is going to have a really extremely powerful SSD that seems really tailored to the machine and how it communicates to everything. So it seems like that's going to be a big difference with the PS5, obviously, compared to the Xbox Series X, which is interesting why we didn't see that. Again, a lot of this stuff is just kind of based on talk. What did you think about the SSD, I guess, Justin?
Yeah, I mean, I was positive about the SSD. I mean, I think I already use the SSD right now for my PS4. Like, I took out the hard drive that it came with, and then I
Well,
bought a.
that's the thing, though. Like, even Mark Cerny was talking about how, even if you have like a 10 times speed of like your normal PS4 hard drive, you're only going to see 2 times the benefit. So, like, the SSD
Yeah,
doesn't
true,
work as like a
true.
PC does in a way.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm excited. Once again, I'm excited for to see how everything's gonna run
Games.
on the
Yeah.
PS5. Yeah, just with like no load times. Especially like at the beginning when there won't be that many launch titles. I guess I'll just be putting in my PS4 games, see how those run, um, with the faster load times. So
That,
I'm
and I'm also
excited
looking
about
forward to
that.
seeing. I'm looking forward to seeing what like Bluepoint essentially is going to be doing with this SSD.
Yeah,
What's rumored to
yeah.
be the Demon Souls remake. How that world's going to be kind of developed, and how much detail will be in that world, considering they have this custom PS5 GPU or SSD. Sorry, that's going to be
Right.
tailor made for that exclusive. So that'll be cool. The interesting part is expanding the storage as well.
True. Yeah.
2 days ago, we got the Xbox Series X information about how you need like a specific expansion card that's going to be pretty easily pluggable in the back. Seems like a PS5 is going to be very much how you do it today. You're going to have to get into the system itself by opening up the top or so. I say open up the top. We don't even know what the system looks like. But yeah,
Right.
essentially, you're going
Yeah.
to be using what is now the NVMe standard for SSD slots. However, right now, it doesn't seem like there's going to be that fast of a SSD that matches what PS5 has. And even that, obviously you're still going to need to make sure that it's the right size. We don't have any dimensions right now, so Sony says to wait on that front.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I'm a little bit disappointed how you have to open it up, but at the same time, like, obviously you're going to be able to want to have choices. So the fact that you're going to be able to pick from different options is going to be a pretty big plus in my book, as long as, you keep the same speeds. Do you want to talk about the size of the SSD? Because I think me and you were talking about that, how it's a little bit weird, right?
Size of the SSD, right? Okay, so the PS5 has a custom storage. So they went with an 825 gigabyte SSD, which is a really unusual compared to the Xbox, which is just a standard 1 terabyte. Um, yeah. Do you want to talk about how like why they went with
Yeah.
that number? Because I wasn't
So
exact. Yeah.
Yeah, so essentially, I think Mark Cerny kind of boiled it down to the fact that essentially, if you go beyond the 825 gigabyte, you're going to be essentially sacrificing speed, the flash speed that you get with this custom SSD, as well as he said about, keeping the price down as well. So
Yeah.
they said that they tested it out with 825 gigabytes and you get a lot of your games down at that point. That remains to be seen. Obviously we see with every generation, a lot of the games get bigger and bigger in terms of gigabytes, especially if we're going into a generation
They're
with
all
like
gonna be like
4K,
100 gigabytes each.
which
We'll see
is
how many games you can
concerning.
actually fit on the SSD.
Obviously, you're going
I
to
would,
want
ho-
to
I
use
would,
as much as that SSD because it's going to be the
yeah.
ultra fast
I would
one.
hope you
But
could fit at least like 10 games on it. It would be
yeah,
annoying to have to keep deleting games and re-download. play.
Exactly. You're expecting like some of these games to be like probably at least 100 gigabytes. I imagine. I mean, it's
Yeah,
possible
yeah.
that
We
we
already we
see
already see
50,
games
60.
now. We already see
Yeah.
games now. Lots of games that are like hitting 100 above.
Yeah. Look
Like
at
I
the
think.
annual Call of Duty, and that's like a
Yeah,
big one right there. So a little bit
yeah,
disappointed that we are only getting what 82.5% of our normal kind of terabyte of storage that you're kind of expected. Storage to me is a
yeah.
big one just because of how fast you go through it. Is a big complaint I had with the 500 gigabyte. I don't think the 825 will be as bad as the 500 gigabyte, but essentially it's just gonna come down to how big these games are. So if we're seeing
Right.
100 gigabyte plus per game, then it's gonna be a similar story to the PS4 launch. So
Mm-hmm.
besides that, like what the Blu-ray drive is gonna be 4K.
4K.
HD audio, or I mean 3D audio, is going to be interesting, but we're not really going to go into specifics there because that's just very technical at that point.
Yeah. The rest is pretty standard. I mean, it's.
Yeah, he did say at the beginning, obviously, that games will be shown at a later date.
Mm-hmm.
It's still scheduled for holiday this year, which obviously they wouldn't delay it this soon. If there
Yeah.
was a delay due to the coronavirus, you'd be hearing
I
about it
re-
probably later. I don't think they'll delay it. I was
That would
talking to
be
Justin
crazy.
about this later, or earlier rather. Obviously, this new generation isn't just Sony. They're talking to third parties. Like the next Assassin's Creed's probably scheduled for fall this year.
Next Call of Duty.
Them delaying the PS5 would affect a lot of stuff. I think that even if they couldn't get that many systems out at this fall because of shortages due to the coronavirus, they're still going to push it out. Just
Mm-hmm.
because it's not only them that they'd be affecting, it's all the partners that they've been talking to. You imagine the next Call of Duty is also going to be ready at launch.
Yeah.
Having a system come out in 2021 instead would affect a lot of stuff right now. So I
Yeah, I mean,
personally
like
still think it's going to
you
be
would
kind
just
of
want
that.
to get it out during the holidays. It's like the time where most people buy the consoles,
Well, I'm
especially with like
talking about
new.
just in general, if like the coronavirus, but
Yeah,
it
yeah,
seems like China is
yeah,
getting in a more stable place. Not to make this all corona venny, but
yeah.
yeah. Besides that, I guess the real sentiment is like your expectations. I was saying to Justin before all this that I was expecting a GDC presentation. Like, I don't know why Sony necessarily hyped this up on Twitter. I say hype up, I mean like announced beforehand. They should have just dropped this out of the blue. Not gonna lie.
Yeah. I don't know.
So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't expecting too much. Like
Hmm.
pretty much what we saw was like what I was expecting, I guess.
Yeah, and a
Maybe
big
I
part is
expected a
now
little bit more,
a
but
lot of this boring talk hopefully will be now canned. The stuff that
right.
was like we got this information at the original PS4 reveal event. Of
Hmm.
course, it was with stuff that was for fans as well, like game announcements and more
Yeah.
exciting information. We didn't even see the DualShock 5 today, so hopefully what
Yeah.
that means is a more exciting presentation that's filled with all the stuff that we as fans care about in the future. Not to say we don't care about the stuff. I find a lot of this stuff fascinating as well, but yeah, Mark Cerny's talking to a different crowd than certainly the average fan. So yeah,
Well, I'm sure like the next time we see or like hear more about the PS5, that's when we'll get, or like I think that'll probably, I don't know, maybe sometime in the summer, like June or July, I
I
think.
think I think something like middle of May and onward we'll
Oh, you think?
get
Okay.
something.
I
I
guess.
think
Yeah.
we can get something before the normal June time for E3. That used to be E3 because obviously there was no E3 this year, or possibly a few weeks after. I do think anywhere between May and July sounds right about when we hear next. I feel like July is pushing it a bit considering you'll be in a few months at that point away, but certainly May or June seems right.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll
Yeah,
see.
that should be good because then we'll get to see like all the juicy stuff that you want to see, like the design, the price,
Yeah.
which launch games, I guess. And then
Yeah,
maybe
the games are gonna be a big
yeah,
one.
that
So
should be good. Did you want to talk about our thoughts on I guess like PlayStation versus Xbox for this upcoming generation? Just some quick thoughts with
quick
the
thoughts. I
new.
mean, in terms of what each system is going for, it's gonna be interesting to see how it plays out with the games. But
Yeah.
to me, I always base each generation off games. Like as a kid, obviously, I'd be excited by what was announced feature wise. Like I remember back in the day with the Wii U and stuff. A lot of
Hmm.
stuff just matters about what you're playing. Like Xbox Series X, as cool as it is, my PC in terms of raw power is pretty close. Like obviously, I won't have the feature like being able to play multiple games at once, but if this thing's gonna be like $500, $600, I just gotta. It's gonna be obviously a big factor to me whether or not that's worth it or not. the exclusives matter, and if I could just play them on PC, obviously I don't see a reason to buy an Xbox Series X unless they give me a reason. I don't see the quick swapping between games as a big reason, at least so far, but we'll see. PS5, obviously, we have their large slate of worldwide studios developing games now. Pretty much after Last of Us Part 2 and Ghost of Tsushima come out, all those teams should be working on PS5 exclusives. So you already know there's going to be a large library of them for them to work on. Not to say Xbox doesn't have exclusives. Obviously they do. They just be on PC as well. I'm looking forward to Hellblade 2. What the initiative is going to be making. We were talking about that earlier. When we can expect that game as well. That's their new new team they started up at Santa Monica, right?
I think it's Santa Monica. Yeah.
So yeah, exciting stuff all around. Obviously, you want competition to make the industry more exciting and obviously push it further, because if there's competition, that means there's got to be innovation. Yeah.
Yep,
Exciting times ahead. It was nice to have this on a Wednesday, I guess.
Yeah, for
In
sure.
the middle of the week. So, with that being said, I guess leave your thoughts in the comments down below. Looking forward to reading your replies and responding to you guys as well in the comments down below. Yeah, Justin, do you want to plug anything? I'm not sure if you have any plans, but I'll leave that space to you right now.
I guess you can still subscribe to my YouTube channel. I might be making a return sometime in the future. So yeah, I guess you can sub to me there.
I'll link it.
We'll see what my channel name is when I come back. But yeah, just
Yeah.
I guess you'll link it. Yeah.
I guess a lot of us have a lot more free time at home. I mean, I say free time, obviously, for those in university like me and Justin. I mean,
Yeah.
Justin's a different story. You're getting off here in 2 weeks. I mean, I still have online classes for what seems to be the end of the semester. But certainly I'd rather be doing that at home than in class, I guess. So, yeah. Of course, all that and more. Just stay tuned to the channel as Last of Us Part 2 and the PS5 inevitably come closer and closer. Just overall gaming news, I guess. So, yeah, I've been online and Justin.
Thanks
And,
for
yeah,
watching.
see you guys in the next video. Take care. Peace.